Hello everybody, it's Helen here. Today it's Wednesday the 25th of June 2025. So today it's been brought to my attention that I'm to talk a little bit about negative self-talk, negative ways of thinking. And this has been brought to light I've had many instances of this throughout my life, working both on a personal level and working with many ladies over the years. And I want you to, one of the key areas in this is becoming self-aware. It's very, very important to be able to become self-aware. What thoughts do you have running through your mind? What sorts of things do you tend to say out loud? And one of the common themes for many women is they'll come out with it's sort of phrases such as, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm really sorry, aren't I an idiot, aren't I silly, you'll be glad when you're no longer with me, you'll be better off without me. These kinds of phrases. Now, they can come from sort of different areas of life. It can be that you've witnessed, or you've witnessed somebody else in your life who's done similar things, so it becomes normal. It could be your own, it could be a parent, a significant other in your life. So you've sort of learned, it's a pattern that you've learned to do. It's part of being subservient also, and this can be part of wounding that comes generational wounds or traumas can be passed down. It can be a collective wounding, women making themselves become more subservient to other people. So it can be learned, but it can be part of us in terms of the negative energy, i.e. trauma or wounds that we hold within ourselves. It could come as a result of having lived with somebody or being part of somebody's world or life whereby they're maybe quite a dominant figure. They could become quite angry or aggressive, easily upset. So it might be that on some level you've learned to not instigate any sort of friction in another person. So it might be that it's about damage limitation in some respects. Have you learned that in order to not instigate an issue that feels really uncomfortable, or a scenario that really feels uncomfortable in your life, you might have a tendency, or you might be aware of somebody else who has a tendency to say things like, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm really silly. So it's making themselves small, talking to themselves in a very negative way, making themselves, or they feel inferior. Again, it can come from sort of like a patriarchal system whereby women have felt inferior or been made to feel inferior. There can be so many different aspects to this, but the key thing is identifying those times when either you yourself or somebody else in your life starts to say these things, and they'll often not realize they're doing it. It's just become a natural part of their everyday life. Now, why is this important? Well, one of the areas is that, as I've said before, absolutely everything is energy, and words are exactly the same. So words carry energy. And if you think about, we've just spoken about those words, those thoughts, they are negative energies. So I want to just, some of you will already know this, but the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto, and in more current times, Veda Austin, you'll find online, their work with water. So Dr. Emoto, I've got his book here somewhere, he's no longer alive. Dr. Masaru Emoto, that's it. in essence, now this might not be strictly accurate, but in essence, what his work was as an example, imagine two containers with water from the same water source or supply. On one container, you may stick words on that are very negative, such as war, fear, hate, that kind of thing, disease, any words of a negative connotation. And on the other container, you might stick words of a higher vibrational frequency, such as peace, love, joy, that kind of thing. And when when the water is frozen and analysed under a microscope, the samples from the water that's been exposed to negative words, they can become deformed and not symmetrical. But on the other hand, there are words, the water that's been exposed to words that are more positive and highly vibrational, higher vibrational frequency, they are beautiful and symmetrical. So on a scientific level, this has been proven. And so if you imagine our bodies are at least 3/4 water, or fluid and water. So if we are holding those negative words, those negative energies, those negative frequencies within us, and we are bombarding ourselves or giving ourselves those messages that we are unworthy, that we are stupid, etc., etc., what is that doing to our physicality? There it holds the potential for dis-ease, for harm, for illness, all sorts of things. So when I say it's really, really important to become self-aware, the science behind it would say, or would suggest, that there is, although not all dis-ease or illness is contributed to this, it can play a very significant part. So as an initial little video, there's more to say on negative self-talk, negative thoughts in another little video. I want you to become self-aware. What's your natural response, particularly when you're feeling as though you're not good enough, or is there a scenario where you've not understood something, or you felt silly or inferior? All of that, those beliefs, are about you dragging yourself down, lowering your vibrational frequency, with the potential to create dis-ease, imbalance, some level of imbalance or disharmony in your body. Okay, so I hope that helps somebody today. Just become aware, listen to what you're saying, maybe listen to what other people are saying, pay attention. Only then can you make the change. Take care, everybody.